Hello, everybody. My name is Sean McDonald, and I am the Capstone instructor here in the program on the environment. It's my pleasure to work with all of our graduating students as they progress through the Capstone over usually their culminating year at the program on the environment. I'm writing to you today. I've reached out to you today because I want to give you a little bit of a heads up as to what to expect as you enter into Capstone. So first question is, what's the deal with Capstone? As you may have already heard, it is the culminating experience. It extends over 3 quarters, and it is in many ways, as I said, a culmination of not only an internship, but also a research project. And for us in the program on the environment, it's something we take very seriously. And we hope that you, as a student progressing through this program, will find it rewarding and valuable, and maybe even life-changing. So let's begin. So you've probably heard the saying somewhere along the lines that you can't get a job without experience, and you can't get experience without a job. It's an old saying, and it does hold true to some extent, as frustrating as it sounds. Part of the reason we have created a capstone in the program on the environment is to help you gain experience and expertise that you can build out your resume with and use as you move forward in your career or in searching for graduate schools or whatnot. So think of this as an opportunity to try out some things, to get some experience, to work on your ability to conduct research and see where it takes you. In architecture, the capstone is sort of the final building block in a structure. For us here in POE, it is that culmination of your undergraduate education, and really, I think more so a culmination of your undergraduate experience, because I really do believe you should try to bring in more than just what you've learned in the classroom. Think about your other experiences, your extracurriculars, and how that has made you into the person that you are. And if you want to try and draw on those experiences to expand on your capstone, I'm all for it. The capstone is an opportunity for you to take your education into the world beyond the classroom and gain that experience, hone your skills, gain knowledge, and build out your resume. We think of it as a win-win because not only are you getting all of these things from the experience, but our partner organizations that we work with are getting something too. They're getting enthusiastic and talented interns, and they're getting a connection to faculty and staff at the university. And that means a lot to them, as witnessed by the fact that many of them come back and work with us year after year after year, some more than 10 to 15 years as partners with our program. But I think probably before I go any further, I want you to hear from some folks who can give you their perspective. First, a student, and then a site partner as well.
I think the Capstone project really was very beneficial for me, at least. I really sought out that group and developed the project alongside the CEO. So it was something that was useful for them, but also really interesting to me. So in that regard, it was really something that I put a lot of time and energy into. I've since taken I did a poster at the symposium, which takes place at the end of the Capstone project. You can do either an actual presentation or a poster. So anyhow, my poster I've actually been able to take out to various other symposia and had really great success. People have been very interested in the topic, which has been great. I also feel like that work really helped show the level of experience I got out of the program on the environment, which I think was influential in helping me get into my master's program. And since being in my master's program, I'm also focusing on environmental policy, particularly looking at energy. And so having that experience has really done a lot to connect me with other individuals within that community, and hopefully will get me a job doing what I want to do.
Great.
Perfect.
Well, there are a few things that we really like about the experience as a site supervisor. One is that we get a chance to work with young people that have a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm for the topics that we work on. And so we really enjoy having that kind of vitality around the office. The other thing is that we're a very small office with a pretty big mission. We're involved in farmland preservation across the 3 states in the Pacific Northwest. And in order for us to get our mission done, we have to use every source of assistance we can find. And so it's tremendously helpful to have students in here working on these projects. So I think it's really important for students to have this kind of experience. And as I've said before, we really couldn't do our work without the help that we get from POE Capstone students. So it's a really great relationship and one that I hope continues for a long time.
Great. So you heard from a student in our program, an alumni now, as well as a site partner, Ms. Candy. And you can see that both sides are getting something out of this relationship. For our students, this can be a jumping off point and a way to sort of build out skills and knowledge that you might need for your future career or grad school, and the products that can help demonstrate what you are capable of. For our partners, many of our partners are smaller organizations and NGOs that really could use the help. And students within our program provide a vital source of brain power and people power to get their missions completed. Dennis works for a nonprofit called American Farmland Trust, but we work with a lot of other organizations as well. So we work with government agencies, state, federal, county, city, as well as some tribal governments. We work with a lot of NGOs, as Dennis pointed out. We work with businesses, some small, some large, some very well known, and some not so well known. And we work with a lot of on-campus groups. The University of Washington is the size of a small city, and we have all of the infrastructure needs of a small city, spanning from energy to waste disposal to other infrastructure needs as well. So I want to talk about what the capstone looks like, or what it will look like for you as you enter into this process. I think of the capstone as spanning those 3 quarters, starting with preparation, working our way through internship, and finally into synthesis. And that spans the 490, 491, 492 series. In the first stage, 490, students are focused on identifying a capstone topic as well as an internship, and then through the process of 490, developing a proposal and learning contract that paved the way for the internship. 490 occurs within the classroom largely. Once that's completed, students move into 491, which, as I said, is the internship phase. And this is done outside the classroom. We don't have any regular class meetings during 491. And during 491, students are getting professional experience as part of their internship. And they're also doing, at the same time, a research project. As part of that effort, they're working with a large team, and I'll explain that and more in a second. Additionally, students are working on a variety of communication products. This includes progress memos that are a more formal style of business communication. We do more informal things like blog posts and social media posts, and we do some check-ins and journaling as well. So during the 491 quarter, students are doing their internship, but they're also doing research, and those things are fitting together. And then finally, in 492, we come back into the classroom. Students prepare what amounts to their senior thesis. This is what we call the synthesis paper. They develop a presentation as part of the Capstone Symposium, You heard the student mention that already. This is something that can be either a poster or an oral presentation, and they do a variety of other summary products. And that is what the capstone looks like. And I know it might seem daunting, but this is something that's going to take place over the period of more than 9 months. So you can imagine that you'll have time to put in this work. And you won't be alone. Part of what this program provides is support. And just like 3 legs of a stool, there's me, there's a site supervisor and a faculty advisor, and we're working together to support you as a student in your work. I help facilitate the projects. The site supervisor defines students' role and supervises them during their internship, and the faculty advisor helps bring in what we call content expertise related to the research topic. And so the 3 of us as a group support students as they proceed through their capstone. So you're probably asking, how do I get started? Well, obviously you're enrolling in 490, and that's a great start. And students who come into 490 might already be doing a research project with faculty at UW and want to continue that. They might be doing an internship with an outside organization, and they would like to continue that for their capstone. It's also possible you might have ideas about some other outside organizations or other interests that you'd like to explore. But more often than not, students come into 490 really having no idea what direction they would like to go, and that's perfectly fine. And that's because as part of the capstone, we have developed a process for helping students secure internships. This all starts with the catalog and what we call a meet and greet internship fair. So part of my role is to find internships among local organizations and help to cultivate those and prepare those in an electronic catalog that we'll share with you on the first day of the course. You'll get a chance to look through the catalog and identify internships that you find interesting. Then during the meet and greet, you'll have an opportunity to introduce yourself to some of the site supervisors representing these various organizations and get your questions answered. At that point, you'll apply for internships and go through an interview process and eventually be placed in an internship. Once you are placed in an internship, you'll start to develop a research question and then identify an appropriate faculty advisor. And then once that's done, you'll produce your proposal and learning contract, which will set the stage for your work in 491. So it's a relatively straightforward process. The key thing to think about is that the capstone is really the merging or the meeting of the internship and research. And so what we're trying to do through this process is create an opportunity for you to do research while also gaining hands-on work experience. And just as a point of some examples here, I want to highlight the 6 spheres that I typically think of when I think about projects that students in the capstone do. First is projects in education and outreach. It tends to be a focus of students within our program. As an example, this is Sean Adair. He worked with the Audubon Society at Seward Park. He was doing outdoor education programs for the Audubon Society. And as part of that work, he was also conducting research on how the physical conditions of an outdoor space impact learning by students. Second sphere I'll talk about is policy and regulation. Now, we work with a lot of government agencies that are responsible for regulation, but we work with nonprofit groups that help to influence policy as well. Case in point, the Washington Environmental Council. Frank Zhang, an alumni of our program, worked with Washington Environmental Council to plan and organize and implement a lobby day where constituents were brought down to Olympia to lobby their legislators on behalf of the environment. And as part of that experience, Frank did research on the relationship between legislators and their constituents and how the perceptions of both groups influence productivity and also how satisfied both groups were with the interactions. A third sphere is agriculture and food systems, which is a very broad category. Students in our program do a variety of different things, ranging from actual food production to farmers markets to food security activities. This is Jamie Strobel, another alumni of our program. As part of her work, she did an analysis of medicinal plants and created a library to perpetuate their use into the future. And so her research was really looking at sort of social cultural benefits of medicinal plants and how they could be conserved. Students in our program also work in business sustainability, and there's many different examples of this. Diana Lloyd-Jones, an alumni of our program, worked with Red Bull in their warehousing to look for opportunities for enhanced sustainability through waste reduction and energy reduction practices. And as part of that, she also looked at how sustainability efforts increase the prestige of business with their constituencies, with the general public, and how both substantive and symbolic action merge in a way to help increase prestige. Julia Anderson did an internship with NOAA, looking at, in this case, sea turtle gut analysis to identify what was killing sea turtles in the Hawaiian Islands, and her work was instrumental in identifying issues with plastic bags that influenced regulations within Oahu and surrounding areas. We've also done a variety of projects in restoration as well, and other projects with local agencies. So lots of opportunities there. The last sphere I'll talk about are the humanities, broadly defined. So this can include literature, the dramatic arts, the visual arts. Student I'd like to highlight is Jasmine Rangotra. Jasmine was a double major with dance, and as part of her work, she looked for opportunities to merge her two interests. She conducted a series of interviews with environmental professionals, took those interviews, set them to music, and then choreographed dance to really express views and perspectives on environmental justice and how environmental justice issues are impacted by the makeup of local environmental organizations. So again, these are just examples from the 6 spheres. There are many other examples out there that I would encourage you to look into. So how do we get there? Well, we have a 10-week quarter, and so I want to walk you through what this will look like for you. First things first, you're going to have an opportunity to participate in what we call the CapCon, or the Capstone Conversations. This will give you a chance to learn from students who are already most of the way through the program. These are students who are in the 492 course, and they can tell you a little bit about what the experience is like. At the same time, you'll be participating in the meet and greet and submitting applications. By about week 5, you will have secured an internship. By about week 7, you will have drafted up an outline of your proposal, and then you'll produce the first order draft of your proposal by the end of week 8. In weeks 9 and 10, we'll have the Capstone Symposium, which will give you an opportunity to see what the finished products of a capstone look like. And then in finals week, you will be submitting your final proposal and learning contract and be preparing for your next steps within the 491 to do your internship in your own research. I should point out that the first 5.5 weeks or so of the course, we're going to be meeting in person pretty regularly, twice a week. The last half, roughly the last half of the course, most of that time will be spent either as part of an online class or working independently. That's either one-on-one with me or your site supervisor or your faculty advisor. So you'll be staying busy, but we won't be meeting as a class as regularly during the last half of the quarter. Most students want to know how they should choose an internship, and so we have a relatively straightforward process for that. You probably gathered already from what I've shown you that the first thing to do is to learn a little bit about what past students have done. You can check this out by looking at the past projects page or past symposia. Most of that is available online. In fact, you can look at the past projects page from our website through the drop-down menu for Capstone Experience, past projects. There's a whole lot of opportunities from years past. You can learn about what students have done, who they've worked with, and what they've been able to accomplish. A second thing that you can do is to search our website for past Capstone Symposia. You just type in Capstone Symposium, you'll see examples from the last several years. If you click on any of those, it'll take you to a dedicated page where you can learn about the individual projects from a variety of students. You can look at summaries, you can look at the videos and PDFs of their presentations and really learn a lot about what they did. So I would encourage you to do that. You should also review the Capstone catalog, which you'll be provided with on the first day of the course. You'll attend the Capstone Conversations or CapCon, which will occur during the second and third weeks of the course. You'll submit your applications. You'll also attend the meet and greet, or you'll select internships that you're interested in. Then you will attend the meet and greet, apply for internships, and then eventually submit a ranked list of your top choices. The supervisors will do the same thing, and we'll make matches. And then you'll secure an internship, find your faculty advisor, and be on your way. So we obviously have a lot to do between now and the end of the quarter. Most students want to know what they can do to get started right now. I would strongly encourage you to update your resume and your cover letter. If you are thinking about working with an outside organization or finding your own internship, I would connect with those potential host organizations now. Reach out to people. If you have questions, please reach out to me. You can contact me by email. And I would just say, come to the first day of class prepared to get started. We're going to hit the ground running. And that's going to require everyone to be ready to review the catalog, to find internships that are interesting to them, and to be prepared to apply for those internships when I tell you to. All right, if you have any questions, again, please reach out. I'm looking forward to this next quarter and really this the next few quarters as we continue with this experience. So you have a great evening, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.